Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Limitless Lauren. So today I'm going to be talking all about New Orleans. And I just got back from my trip. I was there for 3 nights, 4 days visiting with some family. So I thought I would share everything that we did, what we ate, what we saw, awesome things for you to be able to do if you're going to visit. This video will give you tons of options. And I show a lot of different footage from everything I did. Some things I didn't have footage for, but I will talk about briefly. And this is also the second video that I've done talking about New Orleans and things to do. I did one last year when I went to visit during Christmas time, so I will link that below if you're interested in that as well. So let's get started with day 1. So Liam and I got all packed up and we headed to New Orleans. And first I'm going to start off by talking about where we stayed. And we stayed in an Airbnb. And the last time I went, we also stayed in an Airbnb as well. We just think that is a better option because sometimes you can get a better deal than the hotels and it's just a more homey feel. And this Airbnb was really nice. It was very modern. There was really cute artwork and decorations around the house. So when you first walk in, there's like a little living room area with a little sectional, a TV. You walk through down the hallway and there's a full kitchen. And then it's a long stretch of a hallway going boom, 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 bathroom, room, bathroom, room. And this style of home is very popular in New Orleans and it's called a shotgun house. Later in our trip, we found out the meaning of a shotgun house. But with that long hallway, you can shoot a shotgun from the front door and it'll go all the way to the back without hitting any walls. But Liam and I got our own little room. We got a bed. He stayed in his pack and play. It just was a very nice house, very homey, roomy. And our Airbnb was located near the Audubon Zoo area, Audubon Park, in the Uptown district because New Orleans is separated into all different districts. So we were in the Uptown area and a lot of the places that we went are kind of in the Uptown area and then in the French Quarter area. So after we got settled into the Airbnb, we went to go have lunch at a place called Guy's Po' Boys, and they are famous for their po' boys. And I had a fried shrimp po' boy and it was very good. It was a very small place to eat. But the last time we came to visit, it was closed. And so we made sure this time that we were able to go check it out and try it. And it was very good. After lunch, we were craving something sweet. So we looked up some dessert places near us and we came across this place called Creole Creamery and it had very good reviews and there were a lot of fun flavors to pick from, a lot of different toppings, and I got the Creole cream cheese ice cream with pineapples on top. The ice cream was so delicious. It was so rich and creamy. It didn't taste like the processed sugar that you're used to from having ice cream. This was delicious and I highly recommend this place. It was very cute on the inside, and as I was looking around, I saw this thing on the wall and it said an ice cream challenge. 8 scoops, 8 toppings. It's $30 unless you can eat all of it. So that would be pretty interesting to see somebody try that challenge out. So after we were nice and full, we moseyed our way over to Audubon Park. It was a really cool area. I think it's a great place for the community to go because it's free and they have so many things to offer there. You could go exercise there. They had split section on the path, the bike lane and the walking lane. And so you knew which area to walk in. It was really nice to people watch. There was a lot of wildlife, ducks, birds, frogs, swans, all kinds of different things. So that was really cool for Liam to see. And the squirrels, they just came right up to you. Same with the ducks. They got very close and Liam just loved looking at the ducks and they were very pretty too. But they just wanted food and they just kind of stood there waiting around to see if you were going to feed them anything, which we didn't have any food. And the little path that I was talking about, it's 1.8 miles all the way around. They had 3 playgrounds, they had a lagoon. Some things that we didn't see was they had a golf course, they had riding stables, which you can go learn how to ride horses. They have tennis courts, soccer fields, a pool, a cafe, and all of this is away from the street, away from the loud, busy area. It's just a very nice place for the community to go. And we are now moving on to day 2. First up, we went to go eat some breakfast. This is our favorite place to eat breakfast. We went there 2 days in a row the last trip because it was just that good. And it is called Surrey's Uptown. And there's two different Surreys, and they're both on Magazine Street. But there's a Surrey's Cafe and Juice Bar, and then there's a Surrey's Uptown. And we've only gone to the Surrey's Uptown, but this place, just everything is so good. And my favorite thing to eat there is the breakfast burrito. Just delicious. I've tried a few different things from there. Taylor's favorite is the Bananas Foster French toast. And that is sweet. So if you like some sweetness in your breakfast, you're gonna like that. There's not a parking lot, you have to park on the street, and it can get kind of crazy down there, so I would just go there a little early. And on their website, it says they only accept cash, but they take debit and credit cards. I don't know why they haven't updated their website, but it is not a cash only place. So if you are looking for a perfect breakfast spot, that is the winner right there. So after breakfast, we went down, not quite to the French Quarter, but near the French Quarter. It's in the Lower Garden District, and it's called Mardi Gras World. And it is a museum where they make all of the sculptures and floats for Mardi Gras festivals and parades. And this was on my list to do for a very long time. And I am so happy that I went and did it because it was such an awesome place to go see. So we took a tour and it was about an hour long. The first 15 minutes, you're in this little theater area and you watch this 15-minute video explaining the history of Mardi Gras, a little bit about their museum. And then after the video, the tour guide talked about New Orleans' popular dessert called king cake. There's a little baby hidden inside, and then if you find the baby inside your slice, then you will host the next king cake party and you get to be king or queen for the day. I look at mine and I have the baby in my slice. And so our tour guide said, "Oh, you're queen for the day," and I'm bowing down. It was just kind of funny. And it made me just feel good to win the little baby. So I had to take a picture of it. And I took a picture of it in front of the devil on one of the floats because I just thought that that would be the perfect picture. So then after you get the king cake, you go on a guided tour for the rest of the time. Our tour guide was awesome, and it was really cool because you could see all of the artists working while you're taking the tour. They were all working on the sculptures, and just to see how much work and dedication went into each and everything being made was awesome. They had so many sculptures and floats. This warehouse was humongous. And they have this two big sculptures of the gorillas. So they have the King Kong gorilla and then they have the Queen Kong gorilla. And then he showed us this robot called Robot Pixie, and that helps make the sculptures. The robot was working as we were looking at it, and he was telling us how she can turn, I guess she is Robot Pixie, she can turn herself on and off at will. And she knows what tasks need to be done and just does them. And then he told us one of the sculptures that she had made. It's an I Love NOLA sign, and that is the first sculpture that she ever made. The place was just mind-blowing, just seeing all of the details and all the sculptures and floats. It is a must-see. So after Mardi Gras World, we decided to go over the Causeway Bridge, which is a bridge that goes directly across Lake Pontchartrain. And so the bridge is 24 miles across, and it is the longest continuous bridge over water in the whole world. It said for 8 of the 24 miles, you are completely surrounded by water to where you can't see any land all around you. But if you do drive across it and you just kind of want to go across and turn back around, there is a toll going back into New Orleans. It's a $5 toll, but you don't have to pay to leave from New Orleans to go across. That bridge leads right into Mandeville, Louisiana. So that was our next stop, and we went to lunch at a place called Mandeville Seafood. And right when you walk in, there's a seafood market where you can buy a bunch of different seafood, spices, everything like that to make at home. If you walk down, it's a whole restaurant inside. They have all different seafood and Cajun meals there. I got a fried chicken salad. It was very good. And they had a lot of cute paintings around the wall, and it was just a very cute little restaurant. So after lunch, we went to a place called North Lake Nature Center. And this was also in Mandeville. We thought that there would be kind of a building. We could learn some history about Mandeville. We were very wrong. So we get there, and a guy approaches us and says that there are 2 baby alligators that have been spotted, but they can't find the mom, and we need to stay away from this certain area because they're trying to find the mom, and how dangerous it is, and if we hear shooting happening, it's okay because he's just tranquilizing the alligator. We were kind of speechless at that point. We were like, okay, should we even keep going? I don't know what to do here. So we went to the other side that he said that was okay to hike around in. So we started walking, and it was very pretty, but after he approached us talking about alligators, we were all kind of spooked, and we were kind of just paranoid, basically. And there was nobody else there. There was nobody else the whole time. Someone points out that there's a huge spider. Well, I had already walked under the point, and so I'm like, oh, I didn't notice it. So I turn around to go look, and it's this huge spider. No. Oh my gosh, it's moving.
There's a
I can't. No. So big. The webs are so big over your head, like the spider could just fall on you at any time. And they were everywhere. We had to be so careful where we were walking because we could just walk into one of these spider webs. So we keep walking. We see this big abandoned building. And so I'm like, well, was that the nature center? Because we can't find it anywhere. There's no signs. So we're thinking at this point that there's not even a building. It's just kind of hiking trails. So it's very ominous, just kind of looking around. We're hiking along these little trails. It's very swampy. It seems like an alligator or a snake can just jump out and attack you at any time kind of feeling. And then we come across this little sign that says kids play sand pit area. And it's just this random sand pile, this little baby shovel. It was very weird and creepy. We walked a little bit and then decided to just turn around because we were all just weirded out by this place. It had good reviews, but I think it was just for hiking purposes. But I don't even know who would want to hike there. I would be scared. But it made for good memories, I'll tell you that. So we made our way back to our Airbnb, and the host left this booklet of all the eateries that are good in walking distance of the Airbnb. So we decided to check a couple of those out. And one of them on the list was called the Company Burger. And we went there because they were having happy hour. So we got a happy hour drink and shared some tots. The tots were very good and the drinks were very good. There was tons of ice in the drinks, which I feel like is typical of a lot of places. A lot of ice, a little bit of alcohol. So we just kind of had our one drink and tots and then left to a different place. So we walked over to a place called Midway Pizza. They were also having happy hour. So they had $5 double shot well drinks, which in my opinion is a great price. Very good, strong. And then we also got a pizza. So we did half of the margarita pizza and half of the Uptown Meat Down pizza. We all really enjoyed it, and I really recommend this place. It was very good. So now we are at day 3. So we decided to try out a new breakfast place, and this was also in the host's book. So we walked down to a place called Bearcat Cafe, and I gotta first start off by saying the staff there was wonderful. So I got Liam they only had fresh squeezed orange juice, and so we got that, and wow, that was probably the best tasting orange juice I have ever had, because I'm not really an orange juice kind of person buying it from the store. I just don't think it tastes good, but this was delicious. And they had tons of different fresh juices. And then I ordered the breakfast club, and it was a breakfast sandwich. Very good, and it came with a side of potatoes. All of it was so good, so fresh tasting. And it was nice because they had healthier options and unhealthier options. It was called Good Cat and Bad Cat. So the Good Cat was like a lighter dish, and then the Bad Cat was like the more hearty. And they had vegan, vegetarian, paleo, gluten-free options. This is another breakfast place I highly recommend. So after breakfast, we wanted to take the trolley down to the French Quarter and walk around. And so I had never taken one before, so we decided to go on them. But it actually wasn't the best experience. So we got on it and we get to this certain stop and the lady was starting to yell at everybody to get off. This is the last stop, get off. And we're confused, we're not understanding why we need to get off because this is supposed to take us to the French Quarter. Well, we're nowhere near the French Quarter yet. And so people are trying to ask her why, why isn't this going? She's yelling at us that nobody's listening to her and she can't believe how dumb we are, and just very rude, ridiculously rude, not explaining herself, not communicating. So finally, after somebody asked her for the millionth time, why isn't the trolley going down to the French Quarter, she said that there was construction. If she would have just started out by saying there is construction, this is the last stop we're going to do today, it would have saved everybody a heartache. But no. She just, I don't know what her deal was, if she was having a bad day, but it was not a good experience. She treated us like trash. Everybody on the trolley. So we had to take the city bus all the way down, which the city bus was air conditioned, so it was nice because the trolley, it was all open, it was a hot day. So we made it to the French Quarter, and I've been to the French Quarter before, and we just like to walk around. It's fun to people watch. And so we walked around on Bourbon Street because the last time I went, there was a lot of construction. You could barely walk down there. It just was too much. And so this time it was a lot better. We saw street art. People were in the middle of painting, hanging their artwork up. There were street performers. So after we walked around for a while, we wanted to go have a hurricane, which is a popular drink down there. We went to Pat O'Brien's because they supposedly have the world's best hurricane. Their hurricane has the hurricane mix. I don't know if it's like a powder mix or what the deal is, but it was more tart, sour-ish tasting than the hurricanes that I've tried. And so we found out there's two different ways to make it. You can make it with the mix, or you can make it with the real fruit juice, which that's what I prefer, is the real fruit juice. So we just had our one drink and left. It was still a fun experience. Pat O'Brien's is a very popular place to go. They have a back patio area, but that's for 21 and older. So then we went over to Jackson Square. So it is a National Historic Landmark and it spans over 2.5 acres. There's a big Andrew Jackson statue of him on top of a horse, and there's a lot of nice landscaping, very green, and there's a huge cathedral right in the background. It's a very beautiful area if you want to have a picnic, if you want to sit down and relax. And so we sat in Jackson Square for a little bit until the cathedral across the way finished their mass, and then the cathedral was open to the public. And so when that opened up, we went in there and looked around, and it was a very beautiful cathedral, so enormous. The ceilings were so high, the artwork, paintings on the ceiling was beautiful. They had a lot of stained glass. It just was a very peaceful environment. It was very quiet, very air conditioned. So a lot of people migrated in there. And then opposite of the cathedral, on the other side of Jackson Square, there was a line of carriage rides just waiting for people to take a tour with them. It's $20 a person, which is a little pricey. So we kind of waited for a little bit and then we decided we wanted to go on it. We're going on a carriage ride. Beautiful. And so it's pulled by a mule because we learned that they can tolerate hotter weather than a horse can. So it's a 30-minute carriage ride just around the area, and our tour guide was very knowledgeable, told us all about the buildings, how long they've been there, good places to eat, good places to stay, all kinds of different information. On our way down one of the streets, he pointed out this place called Cafe Amelie, I think it's pronounced, I'm not sure. But he said that when Beyonce and Jay-Z are in town, because they have a house in New Orleans, they rent the whole building out because it is their favorite place to eat. So after the carriage ride, we asked the tour guide of a recommendation to eat near the river area, and so he suggested the gumbo shop. So we made our way down there, and this place had a nice patio area to eat, but we ate inside because it was hot out. And I had the seafood okra gumbo, which was very delicious. All the food was very good. The staff was very friendly. It was a good place to eat. And then after we ate lunch, we wanted to have another hurricane, but somewhere different, because on our carriage ride, he showed us the oldest bar in New Orleans, and it's called Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop Bar. And it looked very olden time, rustic, and the bar is from the 1700s. Liam wasn't allowed inside, so we got our drinks to go, because that's something fun that you can do, is you can get your drinks to go and walk around with your alcoholic beverages. And that one was made out of real fruit juice, which I really liked. Very good. And then we finished up our drinks and made our way back to the city bus to take us back to the Airbnb. And then for dinner, again in the host's book, he suggested a Mexican restaurant called Felipe Taqueria, and he said it was a favorite among the college kids in town, and they have multiple locations around New Orleans. And it was like a counter-serve eatery. It reminded me of like a Chipotle Qdoba kind of thing, where you go and order, go down the line. But they had a lot of different options that you can pick from, and so I got the taco salad bowl, and they had an al pastor, and it was marinated with pineapple and cinnamon, and so that was intriguing, so I got that, and it was very good. I prefer Chipotle just because I just love it so much, but it was a good place to eat, and I see why the college kids love it. So we have made it to the final day, day 4. We went back to Surrey's again for the last hurrah, and I had the Costa Rican breakfast. And it was very good, but I just still prefer the breakfast burrito. I always try to try something new when I go there, but that is just my go-to meal there. And then we just kind of wanted to walk around a little bit, not do anything crazy. So we went down to somewhere called Canal Place, which is New Orleans shopping mall. And it was probably the smallest indoor mall that I've been to, but it was very high-end shops, very upscale, like Louis Vuitton, Tory Burch, Saks Fifth Avenue, all those kinds of shops. It was very ritzy, but it was a beautiful mall. It was lined with so many different plants on the sides of the railings going up to the 3rd floor. It just was very beautiful inside and a good place to just kind of walk around. So after the mall, we wanted to eat some lunch, so we made our way over to the House of Blues, and this is a very popular place to go when you're in New Orleans. And so they have a restaurant, and then they have a concert hall area for the shows. So people 21 and under can go in the restaurant area, so that is where we went. I got a Hob burger and a hurricane. Very good. It was made out of the fruit juices. It was very similar to the Lafitte's, and the Hob burger was very good. Sometimes when somewhere is so hyped up, sometimes you have high expectations and it kind of lets you down, but it exceeded my expectations. There was live music playing while we were eating. There was so much cool artwork lined on the walls. You looked up at the ceiling and there was all these plaques, famous musicians, singers, artists, and it had their realistic faces coming out of the wall. After the House of Blues, we made our way back and Liam and I went home. Woo! That was a lot of information. The whole experience was so fun and thrilling and busy, exhausting. I walked several miles through the whole trip. And of course, I didn't bring socks to wear with my tennis shoes, so I wore my sandals, which I am surprised my feet didn't hurt or have blisters or anything. I must have had a really good pair of sandals because wow, we walked a lot. And I would make sure to always have water there. Every time we went somewhere to eat or drink, I'd get water to go and just have it with me when we walked around, because you can easily get dehydrated. Bring sunscreen. I would have been burnt to a crisp if I didn't have sunscreen. And if you have kids, get a good stroller, because that really helps. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you go visit New Orleans, hopefully you will try some of these places. Let me know. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye! But wait.
Before you go, I'll miss you so please subscribe to my channel and like this video.